So today we're going to be looking at the best players under 300,000 coins. Goalkeepers starting us off, very simple. It's pretty much the same each way. As soon as you go over the 40, now even 40k mark, all the gold goalkeepers are available, and to be honest, that's all you need. Like, Tim Howard is just a thrown in there, same as kind of Dudek. Like, there's a few people that are liking him. The only good thing at the moment that's become very popular with him is the fact we've got an Alex Morgan SBC, we've got a Swanson SBC. Smith is obviously, Sophia Smith is incredible in herself anyway, and there is a couple of other Americans that are kind of throwing their weight around that are doing really, really well. So obviously, with a keeper, he gets the links to the Americans. That's going to be another point in the bag. But to be honest, I'd just go Courtois, Alisson Edison, Donnarumma to Stegen. They're personally my favourites. If you need coins in FC25, lootbar.gg has you covered. They are the cheapest trading platform on the game, 8 to 10% cheaper than any others, 8% off if you use the code JT11 at the end at checkout, plus you get 5% extra on coins. With the fastest delivery system going, used by many FC25 creators such as Zorky, Manny Plus, and even Pro owners. So if you need any coins, head over to lootbar.gg, make sure JT11's in the promo code, and hopefully you enjoy. And then swiftly moving on to the fullback. So definitely more heavy on the left back side, more so than the right back. Just starting with the right back, obviously Cancelo can play both. I would suggest more right back for him, just purely on the fact that he is right footed, but he does have, unfortunately, the left back plus, and I want to say he doesn't have it on the right. I could be wrong, so I'm just going to double check for you. He has got, that's right, so he's got attacking wing back plus for the left back and only a plus for the right back. Whether that is a big disaster for you or not, then obviously that can be what you choose for him, but I personally like him more as a right back, as obviously he is right footed. Just makes sense for me. But the big hitters here are going to be the likes of Walker and also Dallo. I believe Gusto is just slightly above the price at 483, still has the ability to be upgraded, so that is fair enough for him, but he would be my only other option where I'm like, okay, that is a right back we need. And then we're looking at really icons. We're looking at Cafu, Alberto, we're looking at Thuram, and then we're going into kind of the heroes, and it'd be predominantly more Maicon if anything. So right back's pretty standard. Once you've got Walker, I think you're pretty sorted for a little bit until we start to get some major upgrades. When we look into the left back though, Ferland Mendy now coming in at 145. I believe he's actually slightly gone up in this price. Again, it's only slightly, but it was because he was upgradable in an evolution. We've got him coming in, so we've got him daily here. So he was coming in, that's crossbase, so 120. Then he kind of went up to 140, and he's kind of chilling around it. The lowest he's been is about 110 by the looks of it, but it was the fact that he is available now in the We Play possession. It gives him a very nice kind of stat boost across the back line there, so that is always going to be a fan favorite for a little bit of a price increase. Capdevere at 300, obviously he's one of them cards that is nostalgic to some value. Like if you played FIFA 10, FIFA 11, you know he's absolutely incredible, but even now it's kind of waiting for that evolution for heroes. We know we're going to get one. He personally was my max 87 hero SBC, so again another great card to be pulling. Same as Bompastor, we know what she's like when she starts getting the upgrades, and most definitely still has a very decent base stat across the board. A couple of the cheaper ones, we've got Ndogi at the bottom here. We then also have Sakina. We have Cancelo, who can also play left back. And then just a little bit more of a value in the Total Rush Guerrero with the tiki-taka. Can play centre mid, so it's understandable. Very much like Rolfo, if you'd prefer him to put him into the middle, or you'd like to have that ability to be able to pass from the left back if you are playing out from the back as such. And DeMarco's just a very nice upgrade. Still the ability to get to an 89. Obviously the stats already are at a very good value anyway, so I think for a live card, definitely not a bad shout you could go for. Now honestly, you don't even need 300k per centre back at this point. You've got your fan favourites. I think for me, 300k well spent on a Virgil van Dijk if you haven't got him untradeable, and also the value of these cards are kind of what I'm thinking if you pack them untradeable as well. So for instance, if you get a Marquinhos, I necessarily wouldn't go out and pay 186, but I'd say if you do pack him, he's a very good asset to have into the team as well. So it's not just to go and buy them, but just to be on the lookout for them. Virgil, Saliba are personally my two favourites this year. I think Van de Ven will be a very sneaky one that comes in once he starts getting either performance-based cards or potentially out of performance-based cards that do just ramp that rating up. And we're talking a couple months away. I'm not saying right now. This card for right now is still fantastic. Like, he's definitely available to be able to be played in champs easily. And I do think, other than Virgil, I think Virgil is a non-negotiable. I think he needs to be in the team. If not, I don't think it's the end of the world. Like, if you had a Saliba and a Tomori, a Saliba and a Van de Ven, a King and a Romero, I think this year, and especially even last year, to be fair as well, they did really well to not make it about a specific 11. By the end of it, you always get a random bunch of 99s that come together and you do really well. And yes, there is definitely a favoured formation. You look at like an Alisson, a Virgil, a Mendy, a Walker, a Saliba, without going into the icons, then naturally that's going to be a backline for a lot of people. But I do think each and individual centre-back here can provide a very starting basis comfortably. You will need upgrades very soon, like obviously a Rudiger Tomori, fantastic for the first month. But naturally, as we do progress through the game, you're going to need the upgrades. There'll be special versions of Virgil, as we expect. Saliba, once he's back from his red card, will maybe get another upgrade. Arejo's got an upgrade. Militao's now an inform. Kounde will get one. You just go with the flow with it. But I think any of these centre-backs, personally, would be fantastic. You've obviously got the Anticipate on a couple of them. You've got the Aerial on Virgil. And I think that's possibly the biggest thing for Virgil, is having that aerial plus at this point in the game is a game changer for corners. If you stick him straight in the middle, he is absolutely unbelievable in that zone. So personally for me, he is definitely a number one target. I'd happily stick a Virgil and Tomori there, or a Virgil and a Kounde, if I couldn't quite get a Van de Ven, a Romero, or a Saliba. So definitely Virgil as a number one, and then just take your pick at the second. Now, as we are getting into more of a midfield kind of basis, I decided to split them up into CDMs, centimeters, and cams. These are kind of what I would choose as a CDM kind of pick, really. You've obviously got Patry for her long ball plus, very much like Xabi Alonso. We're starting to slightly get into them icon themes now. There's a lot of teams that have just got almost the best gold cards / special cards. You're just kind of missing out on a lot of Mbappes, a lot of Vinnies at this point, but I'm seeing massive amounts of Teo and Leao. So people have got coins. Rewards are paying out. They're doing really well if you are playing this game consistently. So obviously you've got to start ramping up the picks, and the next kind of pick is going to be icons, and obviously he was available in that max 87 icon also. You've got the likes of Zachariah, who is a standard pick right now for 13k, just like the ones above here. Conte with the intercept, Tchouaméni as even a centre-back. I've seen a lot of people play him there. So very interesting to see the alternative positions. Reminds me very much of Vieira. Having him in that kind of centre-back role, it's just something different, and it kind of works, to be honest. You got very, very cheap option of Camavinga. Tonali even now as a Prem, very good CDM, coming in at 10k. Obviously Rodri's just more price, more rated more than price at the moment. You're not really going to find him dropping down to 10k, being 91 rated, but he can still absolutely hold his own. Into more of the box to boxes, we've kind of got the cheap options in Ndombele. If you really put them stats next to it, you go for an Anchor or Shadow, he's really not that bad. Great dribbling ability, passing's fantastic. Yes, he could do with a bit of shooting, but for an 85 rated card at 16k, if you're struggling for a solid midfielder, he's definitely one to go with, and especially if you've already got Thuram as well. If you've got the two Thurams and maybe a Varane, you're looking at a very good French back line, or a French kind of spine as such, if you're going for that sort of vibe. I think that's perfect. Thuram obviously has to be in there. Unfortunately, he isn't available in an SBC anymore, so I just thought I'd put him in there because it seems like pretty much everybody did him. The amount of times I'm coming up against the two Thurams is absolutely insane, and there is the ability, I can imagine we will get the Turams in the Ultimate Dynasties after Trailblazers if it doesn't come before, because you've got obviously their dad at right back, you got the striker Turam, the centre mid Turam. That's going to be a very big upgrade for them. So there's almost a round 2 coming very soon. Barella, nice again, link for the Serie A. You've got De Jong as the La Liga box-to-box, linking very well with Jude Bellingham, who is cheaper than expected. I really expected him to be kind of not maybe Vinny level price, because I don't think many midfielders hold that million, 2 million coin value, but I expected him to be harder to get than this. I think first week in champs, and it seemed like everybody had him. So it's absolutely nuts. And obviously Bonmati being a very good box-to-box, especially with the links of Putellas, with obviously the links of Patry, Hansen, plenty of La Liga F players, which is just nuts in itself. Then we have the cams, some very good options. You don't necessarily need everybody, which is just nuts to say that there's this amount of variety you can go with. You've got Ligue 1, Prem, Serie A, Bundesliga, even the MLS with Messi. 206,000 coins just to have Messi, and it's not a bad little stint with him, to be honest. His dribbling is already going to be fantastic. You've got multiple positions you can go with. Right wing, cam, and striker. I normally like him as a striker more so than anything, but I could see the real ability at this point being more of a cam, especially because he's going to bring the ball forward with him, as well as then having that shooting option outside the box. I think that's going to be my personal best position until they really upgrade him. And I know he did get a total rush card, but even that one is still waiting for that kind of next upgrade. You look at him like he's 1.8 there. You're looking at just a free pace increase, 1 on everything else, 2 on the physical. It's when he starts to then get the 5-star skills, the 5-star weak foot, a double playstyle plus is where he really kind of hits that next level. The Bundesliga boys in Musiala and also Wirtz, both very good. Wirtz being my more favoured one at the moment with that incisive pass. Same as De Bruyne. Obviously, De Bruyne has a total rush card as well, which I'm pretty sure is still quite expensive at 1.5 mil. And to be honest, it's mainly the pace that you're looking there. It's the only thing De Bruyne needs, and we saw it with Kane, we saw it with Lewandowski of the 15 and 10 pace increase. That is what De Bruyne needed, and obviously the price is reflecting that massively. The incisive pass is massive in the midfield, so he is going to be one to very much look at in the future. We also then have 2 SBCs in Rutter at 140, and then I believe about 30-40 for Gomez. Both very viable options. If you're looking for French Prem, if you're looking for English Ligue 1, you've got yourself these 22,000 coins for Gomez. Nice and easy, very cheap. You've obviously got the 5-5 on Rutter as well. And also with these sorts of cards, mainly more Gomez, the evolutions will come thick and fast, and most definitely should suit him quite easily going forward. An 85 isn't that big of a rating, needs the playstyle plus. He's going to have that ability to be upgraded, I can imagine, sooner than we expect, and definitely sooner than Rutter, because 88 is still quite a high rating to be then evolving players. We also have Foden, very much like Messi. We can play him right wing or left wing. I personally like him in a cam. I think his ability on the ball, like Messi, in terms of dribbling, the close feet, the left stick dribbling, is incredible. Technical on both of them is better on the right wing, because obviously you've got that almost like that kind of yards of space to technical into. You're not necessarily going to do it too much in the cam, but I think the ability on the ball definitely outweighs that in my opinion, and both can play both positions quite easy. And also then Dybala, I would want more pace for him to be a striker. I think that's where team of the season comes in, when he gets inevitably one of them, if he's still playing well at Roma. He normally gets that pace increase, which allows him then to potentially take up more of a striker role. Right now, I would say a dedicated cam is not going to be terrible for him. We've then got a lot of wingers, left and right, both having some crazy options. The first one, who is actually free if you've finished the season pass or it got to at least level 38, I want to say. Adama is a cracking free option. The rapid plus, yes, the shooting ability, the final product isn't great. Like it's very hit and miss compared to the likes of Asala or Dembele, who is even Dembele, to be fair, is very similar. We'll get onto him, but Salah, for instance, with that left foot going on the finesse shot, is incredible. Rodrigo seems to be more of a killer finisher, even with only 81 shooting. But the pace of Adama is crazy for the start of the game. Now, he will be dropped out very quickly, but for right now, I think that as a free card just gives you a right wing for very easy money, really. You don't have to pay anything for him. You don't have to go and spend 270 on Salah, but if you've managed to pack him, he's going to be a great super sub nonetheless. Now, in terms of right wings, we've got talent. We've got Chiesa that can play both. Again, it will depend on what your stance is, whether you'd want to play him left or right. Rodrigo, great option. Some people have played him more as a striker because, like I say, he finishes better than what a striker does at some points. Now, it depends on what strikers you've got, but that's definitely an option as he does drop down price very quickly. Dembele, the rapid plus, but also with that 5'5", the dribbling is outstanding. And obviously he does have a inform, I want to say. I don't think it's another special. He has an inform as an 87. That's coming in at 426, so just a little bit above. But for me, I would definitely just stay with the gold. It's 1s and 2s for the upgrade. Wouldn't really touch that, to be honest. And then you've also got the Liga F Player of the Month, the very first one. And honestly, she's fantastic. She's a great card, nice and cheap. Even if you've got your right wing sorted, she's got left and right wing abilities and could come off the bench and provide that pace easily. The left hand side, we've got Swanson. Definitely, if you want to get Morgan in there, if you've got Howard already, if you've got Sophia Smith already, she is an absolute must complete for them links. Even off the bench, brilliant. The 5-star, 4-star works. You've got the informs in Diaz and also Adeyemi. Depending on your league, I've tried to really kind of balance what leagues I've put in here as well. Because Adeyemi, again, very much like Adama, like Dembele, with the quick step plus, absolutely rapid. 97 on the pace. You look at that with the shooting. If you was to add something like a finisher for him, you've got yourself an incredible 82 rated card. Now, I don't think he's going to be upgraded anytime soon because naturally them stats are far too good for what the evolutions are giving. You got yourself an 87 winger from an 82 rated card, like 97 pace, 85 in the shooting and 91 dribbling is absolutely fantastic for the rating that he is, and only being 100k is incredible. Neymar, on the other hand, at 40k, I think he's good. Like, he's definitely good, but he's definitely took a downgrade. Now, he has got an upgrade to the hat Neymar. Obviously not playing for a long time now. It's the only dynamic they could have pretty much used, and he's 1.2. Even then, I think that's just purely on dynamic more than anything. He's kind of just one of them players that you have for nostalgia value. And naturally, once we get to the end of the game, he's going to get a 90-plus card easily. Like, he's going to be 99 at some point. So that's going to be when I'd really say he's actually worth going for and spending some really big money on him. Right now, I think he'd be just great for the Saudi links, if anything. And then Nico Williams, incredible. Rapid plus, another great La Liga player, especially when you've got all of the other right wings of like Rodrigo. You've got then Mbappe, Jude, plenty of links available for that player to go and really get something from it. And I'd probably go with the gold rather than the SBC. And then when it comes to strikers, this is a perfect list still. Like, you don't necessarily need too much more than this. Sophia Smith has just like nicked herself in here at 317. I saw that she went up. Is what it is. I think 300, 317, whatever you can pay for her, she's fantastic in front of goal, especially like we said with the previous SBCs and players available. Howard, Swanson, Morgan, herself. Then you've got the likes of Dunn as well. Some very good American links for some early beast squads, to be honest, and you could probably see more as well. You've got Donovan and Dempsey that could be available, and more than likely the first heroes will start to get an evolution very, very soon. Now we've had that max 87 icon and hero out. Other strikers though, Thuram, as we've already discussed, incredible for the price. You've got Sesko and Watkins still available for upgrades in the UCL, but we will see them whether they do in the coming weeks. Both of them are still very good pricing. 71k and 123, a 6'5" striker with some very good pace, physical dribbling and shooting, and still has the ability to go to an 88. I think that's definitely a card worth having a look at an absolute minimum. But then we have my personal favourites in the starting strikers. Haaland and Griezmann both do really well together. Haaland with the acrobatic stuff, the big bully mentality going through. Griezmann with the finesse outside the box works really, really well. I've also chucked in a little Nunez. If you are brand new to the game, he is an absolute must to go with before anything else. If you've got no money, no coins, whatever, you make sure you can get Nunez first, as I think as a very much introduction striker, he's one that is well worth getting, and will get an evolution at some point very soon that gets that shooting that little bit higher. Morientes is one that I'm really stuck on why he's not talked about more. Obviously, you've got the likes of Closer coming in at 600,000, was extinct at 150 or like 200, then extinct at 350. His price range raised once more, and it's mainly because of that aerial plus, because we know it's quite a broken mentality for the game at the moment. Why is Morientes not the same? I get stats might be a little bit different. He's like 1 inch taller. I think that's an incredible card. Now, naturally, he is slightly going up. It's not hardly like I'm saying he's not going up at all, but it's crazy that he's not going up more, in my opinion. I think it's such a broken mechanic. That is one to definitely have a look at. We've also got Danjuma as another very introduction SBC striker. You could get away with Danjuma and Thuram for a little bit. Now, as we do progress through the game, we're seeing more and more, not necessarily God squads, but the best gold squads we've seen. So we've got the Virgil, the Saliba, Walker, Mendy. You're seeing Griezmann, Son everywhere. You're seeing Rodrigo, Nico, Leao, Teo. There's a lot of everybody. So they will definitely fall, in my opinion, very quickly. But for right now, I still think they are viable in them lower to medium options at the moment. And then the two informs, Peugeot with a Rapid Plus, always a good option, 28k, very, very cheap. And Martinez, great finesse shot, obviously got a bit of pace on him. You can go with a Hunter and get a little bit more on that shooting, as well as then already having some decent dribbling and physical is definitely a match to have a look at. So let me know if there's any others. If you've got a favourite evolution, leave it down below, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.